Good evening. Welcome to the Park Township September meeting. Where did the summer go? So if I can ask us to rise, and we're going to do something a bit unusual. Since today is such a significant day of 9/11, I'd like to have a moment of silence for 30 seconds. Might seem like a long time, but let's have a moment of silence just to remember what happened quite a few years ago. Thank you. Heavenly Father, as we pause and remember what happened years ago, 9/11, we lift up those who still have loss in their life from family and friends. We remember those who went into the towers for rescue, selflessly giving themselves of their life at times, but also in great risk. Lord, we thank you for men and women who serve us in the police force, in the fire departments. And we thank you for their bravery and courageous spirit. We thank you for their sacrifice of time and talent, and often their lives. Lord, as we remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice on 9/11, we just hold them up to you and their families. And in this meeting today, Lord, we just pray for wisdom as we deliberate for the good of our township. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome trustees and guests, residents, and welcome to our township manager, Bill. So welcome to your first meeting, and thank you for joining the team here at our township. So approval of the agenda. Is there anything to add or deletions to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda as it stands. Okay. Yes. Great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great. Motion passes. Approval of this consent agenda, which is the minutes from our special meeting on the 21st, as well as the payment of the bills. Any additions or deletions to the minutes or questions on the bills? Okay. Seeing none, I'll take a motion. Motion to approve as written.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Great. This is the first public comment. We have two, one at the beginning, one at the end. So if there's anything that would like to share at this meeting, this is your time. So I'll open up on the right side. Who might be interested, please come to the podium, and if you'd like, identify yourself. And anyone there? Okay, in the back row. No. Almost like church in the back row.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're welcome. All right. Yeah, we're good. Okay, we'll close the public comment. Okay, just a reminder, our mission, vision, and values. Park Township is a family-friendly, connected community that values our natural features, agricultural character, and recreational opportunities. Our mission, we proactively listen and lead, provide exceptional services and amenities while carefully stewarding our resources. We're going to do it with integrity, respect, and being genuine. quick reminder, it's time to start this meeting, why we were here. We all got reports from the various groups, fire, all departments. Any comments or questions? If I could just ask the fire chief, I was with him on this past Wednesday, but I got a little bit of lowdown on our rescue we had. I think that if some of these things kind of fly under the radar, chief, would you be willing to give us an abbreviated version of what you experienced last weekend on the water?
Yeah, we got,
Did you come to the podium so the public can hear? This is why we have a fire team that not only just does fire, but does water safety. So this is a great example, please.
We got notified earlier in the day that the state park put out a double red flag warning because of the winds coming in. Waves were running 6 to 8 feet. We were notified by some of the charters that some of the fishing charters were canceled for the day because of the lake conditions. We had a 20-year-old gentleman go out on his kayak and just get outside the pier heads on the north side and was overturned and was able to make the call at 3:30 or 3:25 that he was in the water. We got called for a water rescue. We had a 5-minute response. Both jet skis were out, was able to respond. I was on one of them as a rescue swimmer, and our first jet ski made contact with the victim in the water and was able to get a rope to him and get him over to the life sled. And we were able to get him back to the north side where he was able to climb up the pier and get to medical help and be evaluated. The station on the south side retrieved the kayak and got it back to the station where the kayak could be picked up. The interesting thing is it was about a 3-minute time that it took us to get him from the capsized kayak where he left that and got to the life sled and bring him back in. But I think it was a real eye opener to the firefighters when the dad brought him to the station to pick up the kayak, and we got to meet what it meant to the family. And I can tell you, as far as whatever we have spent on jet skis and water safety and that vision, that was paid for that night. Because Dad was driving in from the Hamilton area, and he said he believed that he was going to look at a different situation. He was already planning a different outcome than what we were able to produce. So very, very success story. Unreal how our team is challenged with this Marine division and how they're coming up to it. I've said years up here, if you give them the equipment, they will perform outstanding things with it. And the equipment that we had there made totally the difference. So, and like I said, we were able to hit this time that we were on scene within 5 minutes. That made it totally different. So
That's awesome.
Thanks, Chief.
Are we going to be able to give a summary of that to Representative Nancy DeBoer? She's been our biggest, advocate.
The slice of the video would be able to be sliced out and we could send it. Thank
Sounds
you,
good.
Chief.
Yep.
Thank you. Great idea. We're good. Any other questions on the particular areas of the departments?
Mr. Supervisor, I do have one, just a general question. When we look at the building zoning and planning report, we used to have a line item for short-term rental complaints, and I don't see that on here anymore. I just was curious as to what happened to that. And I can get an answer at another time, but it's not on here.
I think we can ask manager to look at it.
Perfect, thank you.
That'll be. Thank you. Super. All right, so we'll move on. We had to have, we'll open up a public hearing. Thank you for your questions on that, sir. Public hearing on the truth in taxation. This is an annual item that we had to do. And so I believe I need to open up a public meeting and see if there's any questions. Certainly, item in front of me. Just a clarification, do I need to actually describe what the public the public hearing is for, Dan? You know, just notice that we have, do I have to actually say that?
Yeah, you've already kind of noted that it's the truth in taxation.
Okay, all right. So, okay, so it's the truth in taxation hearing, and after that hearing, we will have a vote on the tax rates. And so we're open up to the public. So I'm going to open up to our audience if there's any questions or comments about the taxation, the millages, or anything that's on their mind about this particular item on our agenda. So, any starting on the left side this time. Yes, please.
George Ayub, Anderson Avenue on the south side of the lake. Could you explain what this new millage proposal is, please?
New village. Good to know who.
I can maybe explain a little bit of it. There is no new millage. Every year we have to do this because of the Headley Amendment.
Okay,
The rollback. Last November, we did have an election and approved a bike path levy from 0.4 to 0.55. So that is a little bit more. But I don't know if you've looked at our package, but a lot of them have gone down. But this is just a formality for us to be able to collect these taxes.
okay, so it's already been voted on by the public and approved, and it's just your yearly, that's we're doing
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Thank you
So,
very much.
yeah.
I can only imagine there's a few people who wonder what this is. It's no secret. These are all, this is on a regular basis.
Exactly. And Jan, thanks for explaining that because I did receive a couple text messages today asking the same exact question as
Mhm.
that. So yes, we are not raising it taxes. They already voted to increase the bike paths millage.
Any questions on the right side? Okay, we'll close the public hearing that taxation. We move around to the next item on the agenda, which is.
We do have to, I think, approve the resolution.
So move to action items now
Okay.
on the agenda. Okay, so the first item on our action items tonight is approving the millage rate and the L4029 millage report. And in your packet, you have the villages recommended from our CFO Connie, and then the millage rate is that landscape document that has all our villages on, and you can see it every year. So free for the public to look at. So any questions or comments on our villages we talked about last year or last month? Connie was explaining what this was. And you had a month to kind of digest it. Any other questions? She's not here today, but we did clarify any questions that you like, find answers for you. Okay, so no questions, I'll entertain a motion to pass the truth in taxation for this approval of the millage rate. Susan.
We have a motion to pass them. Or to approve the motions. And it was given.
All right, I believe this is a roll call.
This course of action.
Yep, so this is a roll call, so don't you please not a roll call vote on it.
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Gerard,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Survey,
Yes.
treasurer Stegner,
Yes.
supervisor Schoolhall,
Yes.
and clerk Zero, yes.
And those motion match, no?
Yes.
That's not, that's motion bad. All right, great, thank you. Just a reminder to to our audience who are online or in the audience, our portion of your tax bill is about 11 cents without. So I just want to clarify. Thank you for those 11 cents on a dollar. And the rest goes to other things that you have voted for. But our portion is 11 cents. So thank you. Moving on to the next item, Metro Act permit, and Bill, on your first opportunities to get into some of the nitty gritty things. So thank you for doing this.
Sure. Yeah, this item before you was to, I couldn't get it.
Okay, here we go. Sure.
So when a cable or telephone installer is working in any community in the state of Michigan, they need to get a permit to put in their lines and whether they're above ground or below ground. And that's what this is. The county is working on getting broadband through as much of the county that is outlined from the cities and villages and close in on the townships. So this is part of that program. This will put in lines on 152nd north of Ransom from 160th to 146th, and then New Holland from 152nd almost to 144th.
So you have a motion, actually you have to adopt a motion to approve the permit and directly the manager to sign.
And I should mention that after this is approved, before they can actually start the construction, they also have to go before the road commission for the county to get their permit to act in the right.
Okay. So we're the first step.
Yes, yes, sir.
So any questions for our manager on this item? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to pass this.
I'll make a motion to permit our township manager to sign the permit.
Okay. Any questions, further questions on the item? Thank you, Bill, for doing that. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On to community center demolition. Only Chad is going to do it. But Bill, please. Okay.
We've talked about this at the last meeting and asked Chad to come back with firm estimates for demolition. He did look into trying to save the trusses. And the price was astronomical, and plus no one that he had talked to in the construction industry knew how they would ever use them. So the best thing was to go ahead and demolish the building. So you got three estimates that are before you. One from Peaks for $62,000, another one for $140,000, and the third one was $84,087.50. So we're recommending that you authorize the demolition of the building at the Peaks excavating rather for $62,000 and move that project forward.
And making sure that we save bricks, some bricks.
We will save bricks.
So I'll make that motion to accept the bid from Keeks Excavating in the amount of $62,000 for the demolition of the old community center at the fairgrounds.
Support.
All right, any further questions on this item before we call for the question?
Is the saving of bricks going to be written into the contract? And an amount of? We do know we do know that another structure of some sort needs to be built upon that site because it was mentioned in our last meeting that that's where the water source is for the entire fairgrounds. So just demoing that building isn't. And I didn't see anywhere in the paperwork where it is referring to making sure that they're not going to cause damage to the water system. Or what we're going to do about the water system is correct.
I think you,
We make sure that it's taken care of in the township.
Okay, so that's two things, the bricks and the water system. Thank you.
And just another suggestion, this could be another meeting down the road for what we're gonna do there. But talking with the fair board, we have our skate park there, we have our dog park there, we have the playground there. We have a community picnic center there. They were thinking, and I agree with them, possibly do another a bathroom type facility over there. And one of them came up with an idea of using the design of the old community building on a much smaller scale for a bathroom facility. And behind it, with like a maintenance garage to house the water meters and sewer and electric and all that in there. So just a discussion for down the road, but that's kind of the ideas they came up with.
thanks for sharing that, Norm.
Mhm.
It doesn't affect the vote, that's a step down the
Right.
road, but this is more for the, this is for the, saying for making that note. All right, so, any questions or comments about this item? All right, we have a motion on the floor by Dan, supported by Lauren. Okay, all right, that's the question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
That's for the days, because that's the only vote for staying day, so. All right, big, recommendation for the outdoor, warning sirens. This is the item that we spent time on during our work session. Great discussion. Thank you, Chief, for helping us on that. And Chief and manager have discussed further about this item. And as requested, we asked them to come with a proposal of this. To have a clean vote last week. We did not have an action item on this. It was all, but it was more discussion, understanding of the systems. So this time we are going to the question. Yeah, are we in favor of this? And so, Bill, any comments about the proposal that or Chief, if you want to speak to this, introduce this time?
Yeah, I can just a few on a follow-up. One of the questions was, if we approve this, when would they be installed? There's about a 10-week lead time. So once they get placed order, there's 10 weeks before they usually get delivered. During that time, they would be setting poles and securing easements. A lot of the easements are on the road right away, or they look at townships. Properties and stuff like that, secure the easements. With that, once they get them, they can actually put the poles in, which they could do before winter, depending on how it is. So they could be up and ready to run by spring when we start seeing them storms come in. So they work right through the winter. The other thing was, what about with our other municipalities next to us looking at sirens and that? Ottawa County gets a discount anyway from West Shore, but the only other discount that would be available would through Federal Signal, and West Shore is welcoming to go back to them if we get like other townships or municipalities that says, hey, we want to put 5 on and we want to do that. So then they put the order in together and maybe they get 20 or 30 sirens and divide it that way. So West Shore is going to be reaching out with me to the other townships. We even went over to Allegheny County and said, hey, is there any townships that's interested in doing this? Kind of go on, seeing if we can get a multiple order in, and that would be up to Federal Signal to give any discount on there. So all we can do is ask for it. And then I did meet with Connie and the township manager on it and looked at that, and there was some questions that Connie was going to check and look into. I think Trustee Jones come up and said about paying for it and stuff like that, and Connie was going to check into that. So
Also, Wendy, you did have a conversation with our lakefront colleagues. about sharing a site, correct?
Yes, we're still in discussions with them. There again, they haven't taken it. We're further along down the path than they are. They haven't taken it to their board yet, but that's in discussion with them yet. So
We see the opportunity on outside of Elton's Green. Our property is on 32nd Street in Linz. If we would put a siren in, it would cast its noise into the lakes, and then if we were to work the lakes, then we would possibly move it further south and share the cost with the lake.
Yep.
So I appreciate the sheet asking that team to see if they're interested.
and one of the discussions we looked at is your map here. If what we're really worried about is that eastern border, if we move anything over that way to share with Holland Township, we're gonna leave a void down the middle of our township. And I don't support that. I think the coverage gotta be, if you take a look at their map of what they draw out, he covered 95% of the township, and the other areas are more agriculture than residential. So in their recommendation is 1.5 miles, but depending on tree cover and winds and everything affects that siren, how far it can go out. Quieter days may expand further. So any questions?
Yeah, any questions for the manager on?
I just wonder, you're asking for approval tonight. Is it too early for approval? I mean, if we order them and everybody else comes on board, we have to pay for them. Are we gonna get a refund or?
What me and Bill were talking about is if we get the go ahead with them, we will talk with West Shore and something will be sent out to all the other municipalities and say, hey, we're gonna place a group order by, say, November 1st, so they can go through to their boards and see if they want to get on. Just because we do a group order doesn't mean we're gonna get a discount.
But is it too early for us at this point to approve it, not knowing what the others are doing, or we want to go and do it?
I want to make sure that we understand our role in this decision. Our decision is to allow the manager and the chief to end up going into, if there's negotiation or opportunity to improve, to allow them to go forward. We're actually at this point, this is a policy decision. We have siren, we want to have, it is the layout, the right layout. I don't want to get into the placement of the sirens and when they go in. I would like to let professionals handle that. So really, from board level, I like us to say, okay, we're in for sirens. I think we could give verbal instructions to manager and the chief saying, okay, get the best deal you can. I mean, I think that's why I encourage them to say not to exceed $200,000 and then work with Connie and figure out the best way to fund it. We can get caught up in the weeds on some of these things, and I just think we need to pause our digging into the weeds and to say, do we like this or not? That's what we're trying to get to. But I appreciate the question, Jan, but I think they could be saying, hey, they might say, hey, let's install them February 1 and get it all set. And that might be the duration that other communities need to take to figure out whether they're on board or not. I don't want to wait on our decision. I think I've had feedback on this item from our residents, and they're saying this is the right thing to do. It's redundant. It's another tool in the box, but it's another safety tool that is going to help our community be safe. So, especially with all the amenities that this is the right thing.
Yep, Mr. Supervisor, I really appreciate that the proposal is for all of the locations so that we do not have to pick and choose on which areas of our community will get the additional protection or not. I think with 7 more, this covers our entire community, and I appreciate that going forward.
Comments for the chief or manager?
Yeah, just real quick. I mean, I did some reading on this because I wasn't set on it. Everything I read says it's good for high density areas, you know, a lot of areas that are not density. So if I vote no, it's not because I'm against it, it's because I think there's some areas that are not high density. And I think there's other tools that we could use as a township other than a signer that we have to be outside here. And I would much rather do something to get our public online or on phones than necessarily spend on a signer.
Thank you. Another comments before we take a vote? All right. I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Chief. Since I initiated this and I'll make a motion that we recommend that the fire chief and the township manager engage in installing 7 sirens in our town in due course in their judgment. In the price not to exceed $200,000.
I'll support that.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Aye. Motion passes. Great. All right. Joe, it's you.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is a proposal for early voting agreement. If you recall, back in 2022, the voters also determined that they wanted 9 additional days for early voting. So initially, I was signed up, and they did all the early voting was sometimes election, federal election. They came back and said they did not want to do it again. I think it spoke to how much time and effort that it took on your part. And they felt that we would have to have an outcome if it was, by each jurisdiction. So, Highland Charter Township approached us and asked if we would be able to partner with them. And, I'm sorry, we're working with Mike Dahman, who is the clerk over at Highland Charter Township. So Danielle and I have spent considerable time already working through all of the details of what early voting is going to be. The very nice thing about it is that they have a facility that they've actually designed for handling this 9 days of early voting, as well as an additional precinct on voting day. So we have put together this,
Which is the community center. Right?
the community center, the new community center. And they designed that community center or a particular room with voting and elections in mind, which is really nice. So it would be a win-win for both of us to participate in this. So this is the agreement that you have in front of you. And we're recommending that we approve that and move into that agreement.
Motion to enter into that agreement.
Thank you.
Or
Any questions for Joan or Danielle? This before we can ask the question. All right, good. All right, all in favor of this agreement, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. If you haven't been to the Housing Charter Recreation Building, it's
Very impressive.
very impressive. In the room, I was there last week. The room that they will have early voting is easy access to the parking lot, bathrooms. I mean, it's first class. This is the way it should be done.
Yeah.
And collaboration with them is fantastic. So
Yeah.
thank you, Joan and Danielle, for doing this.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. We have the calendar.
So I'm up again.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
This next item has to do with the election equipment maintenance agreement. And we signed one of these agreements a couple years ago with Ottawa County. We're very unique in that Ottawa County owns all of the election equipment. Other states and jurisdictions own their own equipment, but Ottawa County has made the determination for us that they will own it, and then we, in a sense, lease it from them. So this is a modification to the current agreement that we signed a couple years ago. And basically it just puts in a clause to either add equipment, because jurisdictions change all the time. So we're either adding equipment or taking away equipment. And it just gives us the agreement to be able to do that. We've been doing it all along without it being written in the contract. So this just makes it a little bit more formal.
So, basically, it's more of a formality.
Yeah.
And then, so we are agreeing with what you're doing.
Correct.
All right, so I'll make a motion on that.
So moved.
All right, all right.
Support.
Well. The other questions? None. All in favor of approving the management maintenance, election equipment maintenance, you're gonna say aye.
Aye.
Great. She passes. Bowerman's Crosswalk.
Yes, shortly after I came on board, I went out to Bowerman's to introduce myself. Had my brand new business cards with me to pass them out. Met Caitlin, had a nice chat with her about everything at Bowerman's. She passed on the fact that I was there to Andrew, who then he and I have talked a few times via email. I haven't actually met Andrew yet, so he's here tonight. I haven't met him, but anyway, we realized that there's a maintenance agreement that had been written and reviewed by our attorney, but it hadn't been moved forward. They're still interested in putting in this crossing across the road in front of their store. So I brought that back to the surface, made a few minor changes to it. And I think we're close to being able to sign that agreement and get the crosswalk put in, the signs that will go with it put in. The township will own, if you will, the crossing signs, the asphalt, and our walkway to their property line, and painting it annually. But they will pay for the construction of the crosswalk, including the sign, and then we will bill them for maintenance. So say somebody runs into one of the signs, we replace it, the county will actually replace it, bill us, and we ask Bowerman's to reimburse us. So we'll own it, they'll help us with the maintenance from the financial. So we have that ready to go. There may be a few minor changes in the final draft of the maintenance contract, but essentially read the way you see it.
Any questions for our manager Bill on this thing? It was Danielle after Colts events that it was improved. This crosswalk was improved in 2021. And so it falls and drops and be drop. And so thank you, Bill, for bringing it to the finish line. Okay, I don't have a motion. I'll entertain a motion for this.
I'll make a motion to adopt. To direct the township manager to sign their maintenance agreement as presented here.
Support. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none. All in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. A safer crosswalk soon. I've learned that you just can't put signs up. There's a process. All right, so moving on to the next item, discussion and possible action item is removal of cement in the community park along Iowa Beach, in finished landscape on the site. So I'll ask Nick to come up to explain and cover the proposals. You have the item, you have actually a drawing of what would be removed. So thank you, Nick, for guiding us on this discussion here and recommendation.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have two bids, one from Keeks and another from Lakeshore Grade and Excavating to remove the asphalt and concrete that is drawn out with the lines through it there. It's an old map. The stuff east of the plane up to that line is already removed. That was for the Veterans Park. And then the stuff to the west is just an abandoned or an old building that was tore down, I don't know how many years ago, quite a few before I started. So the first quote is from Keeks Excavating for $25,700. And they would actually fill in with sand first and then topsoil. They figure about 650 yards to fill in the void left once you remove the asphalt concrete. And then the other one from Lakeshore, he has three options in one. It's not actually $49,300. Option one is to have Lakeshore Excavating do everything. So they would remove all the concrete and asphalt, then they would backfill and smooth it flat with topsoil. That's $29,000. Option two would be to have Lakeshore remove all the concrete and asphalt and then haul topsoil to the job, and then the maintenance department would run a skid steer and would backfill and smooth it off. That would be $22,500. Then option three is Lakeshore removes all the concrete and asphalt, and then in talking to Mike, he has a pit or some way to get some, it's just thicker, heavy black dirt came off of a job site. It's not topsoil you probably wouldn't want in your yard per se as a finished product, but that's $10 a yard he can get it for. And then we would put that down, you know, a couple inches, and then put 2 to 3 inches of good topsoil on top of that, and that would be $17,500. And the estimated cost for the maintenance department to do it would be $1,300 or $1,350 for rental equipment. And then the cost per hour for a maintenance worker is $55, but that's all their benefits and health insurance factored into that. And we figure about 40 hours to do that. So the option 2 and 3, you would add $3,550 to that. And that would be your final number. But I don't think you will need as much material hauled in, because the cemeteries, when they have openings, they just stockpile all the sand. And then once it builds up to a certain amount, they get it hauled out, and they actually hauled a lot of it to the airport property. So we could, I mean, they're going to use it and sell it to someone else, or we can have our soil back and use it somewhere else. So they hauled in about 150 yards. So I don't, Lakeshore figures you need 670 yards. Keeks was at 650. I think you'll probably need only about 550, but that's just my guess. So and then, yeah, I mean,
Final recommendation, Dick, that you would recommend?
I would pick option 3. Then that way, you know, we could coordinate with Lakeshore, and if we think we're good at 500 yards of soil, you know, then we can tell them to stop hauling, and then it would come in even less than what the options are there quoted. And then, yeah.
And Nick, do we have the bandwidth to maintain that or go forward with this within the maintenance department?
To backfill and level this
Personnel, do we have the bandwidth? Are you guys able to manage that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that wouldn't be a problem.
Probably another question, but it looks like we're excavating concrete, asphalt over there in the driveway. We're also doing demolition across the street. Is there any way that we can use any of that to backfill any of the areas like over the community center?
Are you saying the concrete and asphalt that gets ripped out?
It'll be more expensive than just putting more. Just about. Because we've got 2 different suppliers. We've got, I think we approved Kirk's Excavating for doing the demolition up here. And then we're going to do somebody else who will do the demolition this side and so I don't know.
I think that's a good question to ask our manager and our leader, maintenance leader, to consider. And so a good question. I don't think we need to decide at the board, but I think it's a good question. Is there opportunities to get some new stuff across the street? It is, okay, but
Are you talking the concrete and asphalt back in the?
Yeah.
Uh,
we we're rookies on this thing, so.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, you never know what you would want to use that piece of ground for, and if you fill it with 10 foot of asphalt and concrete, it'll be a nightmare someday if you ever do anything there. And I mean, it isn't really, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it for a proper way to dispose of it, because they make millings out of the concrete and asphalt, to use for road bases and whatnot. So, and then over time, you're just gonna have holes that it's just gonna keep settling. So if it's not completely filled in, if you a rock here and rock here for years, it's just gonna keep settling and sinking down. So it's just gonna be a battle.
Absolutely question. Thank you.
I kind of favor having two different companies actually do this, so that we're not putting all our eggs in one basket and we're sharing contracts with others in the community.
So, thanks, Nick. You want to start this per day?
So his recommendation is option 3, which is 17,500 plus the below that, those costs for the maintenance.
The 35 bucks.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to make that?
I will make that a motion.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the shore at 17.5 and using our internal resources at 2,550.
I'll support.
All right.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. I'll ask a question. All in favor of approving Lakeshore excavating to take these property on, or lay the property out, say aye.
Aye.
It's great. Thank you. The question begs after this is basically what's next. So in a future meeting, we will discuss what the next is. How do we finish off that how do we reach forward? That's a next question. So I don't think this is the last time you're gonna see this. This is some continuing discussion, because I learned my colleague, is that our community likes to see change on that property, and a little bit all every year is our hill on that beautiful park. So, all right. Great. So we're putting along. So managers report. And we're gonna hand it out to someone here.
You guys sit down to Dan.
All right.
You have my report in front of you. We have a new department head starting at the end of the month. And we're anxious to have our board, she's anxious to be here. So September 29th. We've kind of worked through the proposal for revision to our contract with our county sheriff department. I gave you a spreadsheet just now that kind of shows what the cost will be with the new contract. It's still in its final stages, so we'll know once the county board of commissioners adopts their budget and October 1st comes, and the sheriff can make the changes that are required into the new contract. This will all be solidified. In basic terms, our current costs, annual costs for the sheriff's department service is $695,972 a year. Also, I passed out to you and what appears is going to happen come October 1st, $531,791 for a savings of $164,181. Obviously, we've incurred some additional costs with taking over some of the life safety factories that was previously provided by the E-unit. This gets us a little closer to being even up on what we're spending for that part of the process. Additionally, the construction meeting, pre-construction meeting happened a week ago for 152nd Street pathway at the north end of the township. They were to start on Monday, and they started by placing on all of their cones. There's a few pieces of equipment there, and so it's a slow start, but they're on their way. we'll see it before 2 weeks longer. Parking lot for the, RFP for the parking lot here to the pickleball courts should be sent out next month. And, the supervisor talked about maybe the board looking at a couple of the newer restroom facilities nearby that will be incorporated into that project. So that will happen before too long. And then the RFP for Winster Park renovations is also going to go up over the next month or so. And lastly, if you haven't already had a one-on-one with me, it's like one, I'm available to start one. Things are running smooth in the office. I do have one issue. It's going to be hard for me to lose midweek, but we had a nice potluck dinner yesterday that had so much food that we're still eating it today. And I unfortunately love to eat, so that makes it enough. We have a great group, and it's a fine place to work. Thanks for being here. Any questions on my report?
No, thanks for being here.
You said this speaking from the supervisor relationship and a delightful back and forth, and it's one of those things. I think I just very much encourage my trustees to get to know Bill a bit more. The duration of his tenure is going to be great. Although I'd like him to be longer, and I think he does have a deadline. But so get to know him, but also ahead on a good example. Say this Alderman deal. They got done. He's been here 2 weeks. Bill gets things done, and so I just think that there's inquiries, the questions, that there's just pure conversations. Spend time with Bill, and these are phone guys of our community. And I couldn't be prouder of how the person will be said than he will let go. So I think publicly thank you, Bill, for your guidance to the staff and us and me. And I think that you've raised our game here. So thank you. Okay. We're not going in for a second public comment period. We have an opportunity for the local town of a captain site or something else. So I'll start on the left side and then select the back of the road. Anything to comment or question? Entertaining. Good. All right. On the right side, my right, your left. Anything? Anything covered? All right. I'll go with that. All right. Board comments and reports. I'll start on the right side. Nathan, you quite a bit in there. You haven't engaged anything tonight, so I tell you, I'll let our township lawyer. Any news or anything that we should do? Or
No, but in 7 minutes, this will only be an hour-long meeting, so I'll just keep it short.
He did not call for a closed session today, so short. So all right,
it's very quickly the intent of some of the programs to the market or something. Wildly successful. I mean, that person my only suggestion would be there's got to be something we can do with traffic. I heard it was backed up all the way in Marion, it was backed up, it was all over the place backed up.
All the way here in the.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to have those events. You got to figure out how to get people in and out more effectively for those things.
No, you're absolutely right. And that was touched on. Where the entrance is, where they take the money. They're planning on moving that forward so they can get more cars off the road and open up all 3 gates instead of just the one. And Bill's report, I was happy to hear we only had 1 complaint on that whole thing. But yeah, it's been talked about and they are working out some differences there. Yep.
Good. I'll keep it sweet and short as well. With regard to the planning commission, we had 2 action items. Both of them were reviews, preliminary reviews of PUDs. One on the north side at Butternut and 144th, there is a proposal of an 81 unit condo development. And then on the south side, on 32nd, just east of 160th, there's a proposed 30 unit single family development. So again, just in the initial stages of conversations at this point.
Just pleased to report that at the West Michigan Regional Airport, our new manager's on board and he is terrific. I think he's going to be at our work session if we choose to meet next Thursday, just to introduce himself. Young man from Colorado, worked at the Denver International Airport, great experience, and I think we're on our way.
The Max Transit, at the last meeting, the board approved, to have an election on, May 4th next year. And to raise their millage from 0.4 to 0.6 to go on the ballot. That probably means we're gonna have to pay more also, because we don't have a millage for it. Bill and I have a meeting with the new executive director on September 25 to discuss it and to meet him. Park ridership is up 42.5% this July from last July. It went from 303 riders to 440 riders. So that's in the month of July. Yeah. So and another thing, if you haven't paid your taxes, they are due Monday. The office has been busy, so don't forget to pay your taxes.
There's your public service announcement for that.
Yeah.
I like how you always bring the good news.
I do want to highlight, well, Jan has finished the report. I just want to highlight and say thank you to Dean. There's been a transition in our office, and Deputy Clerk resigned.
Deputy Treasurer.
Deputy Treasurer resigned. Dave, sorry. Deputy Treasurer resigned. Fairly abruptly, and I just want to say thank you, Jan, publicly, for stepping up and jumping into this season. I mean, not about a crappy season to lose an employee, but I thank you to you and the team that surrounds you, getting that job done. I got a call from Bill the day that she left, and he was encouraging, like, wow, seems going to figure it out. So I just want to say to you and the entire team, thank you. I don't think the board understands what that transition really means.
And I haven't worked in the office for 13 years, and a lot of programs have changed. So I'm getting educated, but you know what? I'm loving every minute of it.
So again, hats off. I think you need to, show a little love to Jan and maybe a little extra love it after Monday when it's done. So thank you, Jan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lauren.
Ottawa County Fair, we touched on the Found Cottage with Brian earlier, and I was gonna talk about that and with the traffic issues. Other than that, things are winding up there. We have one more event out there, and that's the Park to Park run at the end of the month. And the sad news is after that, winter storage comes in, so they're moving things out and ready for winter storage. And ZBA, we had one item and that was approved on the ZBA Monday night, so.
I forgot one other thing. The past board had donated towards a memorial for our past clerk's wife. That a memorial has been put up. We just received the plaque today. And so we're looking at next month's meeting, possibly doing a little ceremony at 5:30 or so before the meeting, but it took us a while to get the plaque and everything done. So it is done out at Keppel Forest. So
Describe where it is.
it's like a tree thing with all butterflies on it. And it's in the middle of the wildflower garden. Jane loved butterflies, she loved the outdoors, and her grandfather donated the property for Keppel. So we thought that was appropriate.
Certainly honors her and celebrates her in a beautiful way. So then you were the quarterback on that.
Jordan did a lot of it too, so.
Sure. Thank you. All right. Thank you for, I'll keep my comments brief. Yesterday, the chief and I spent today with colleagues from our, basically the Lower Peninsula at the emerging issues in fire safety meeting, hosted by the MTA Michigan Township Association, who's in Frankfurt. All I can say is that no one has extra people. Everyone's having a hard time retaining people, and all folks are underfunded in the fire department. And I say that publicly. I just want to say thank you to our community for approving a millage that funds our department. But the challenges that the chief has, and many chiefs in our state, is that young men and women aren't interested in becoming a part-time employee in fire departments. And it's tougher to retain people long term. And so I just want to say thank you to the chief for creating a culture of that he has at the fire department to keep people on board and keep recruiting folks. It's hard. And I just want to say thank you to the community for funding this. The expectation is that in 4 to 6 minutes, you have someone at your shed. It's getting harder and harder to deliver on that promise, because folks, if you're a 25-year-old from young woman, this time of year you're buy a house that keeps you in that range. This reality is, okay, if you're 25, you might be in the fire service, you have to be within 3 to 5 minutes of the fire station, so you serve our residents. Hey, where's that 25-year-old going to live on Michigan? This is financial. This is a really issue that we will have to address. This is not something that we can kick the can. This is something that arguably is an issue that this board should address during the next 2 years' time and be creative, because we wait for the state to come up with solutions. We're not waiting. And I'll move into my second item. The manager alerted us because MTA updates. Though if you were to take a moment, what happened? You got a reduction in our statutory funding, and you encouraged us to call our legislatures. Could you just explain really what you were asking?
Yeah, the Michigan House, when they adopted the budget a couple weeks ago, adopted a budget that eliminated constitutional revenue sharing for almost every village, township in the state. For Park Township, it was a loss of $103,000 on their annual budget. The second part that makes it even tougher, not only lose $103,000, but it's effective if the Senate adopts it on October 1st. But we're already halfway through our budget year, so we've already budgeted for that $103,000. We're going to have to figure out a way to come up with that half the year $50,000 that we're going to lose starting October 1st. So that's the issue, and funding is, as you said, tough and tougher for us to keep up with. I called and emailed Roger Victory's office, and they responded yesterday that Senator Victory is very concerned about keeping the Constitution. He knows that we, from all the other townships in his district, rely on those funds. These are funds we used to collect, but then when they came in, taxes were kind of taken away from us in the state and give it to us. Now it comes from the state. But anyway, Roger very concerned about that, and I think it would really can get that back in the budget if they're able to even do anything with it.
Yeah, and I called Nancy, I called Roger, and I just encourage my colleagues, pick up the phone, call them, leave a message, talk to the staff, and just say, this is unacceptable. This is a mid-year change that we along with every other township have to suck it up. I mean, and our financial situation is strong, but $52,000 now mid-year, That's a kick in the pants. I mean, that hurts. So just, please call. Just take it, it'll take you 3 to 4 minutes to go on Nancy's site, go on Roger's site, and just express your disappointment, but also encourage them to restore that. And they need to hear from us. And the MTA, when they send out a notice saying, please talk to your legislature, it's not an empty ask. It's an ask. They need support from us on the boots on. So please do that. I appreciate that. I just want to say thank you to the chief for the fantastic day yesterday. What we were. One item that HR and team have asked us to bring up is ordinances and fees. You start appealing that money a bit. It's a bigger issue. Bill and I talked about that. I'd like the staff and team to make some recommendations. We have some fees that are buried in ordinances, and we have a fee schedule. You know, it'd be more appropriate to talk holistically about how we do some of those fees that are buried in the ordinance and put them to the fee schedule. And we on a regular basis talk about the entire group of fees instead of isolating 1 or 2. And there we have that kind of cherry effects. Maybe we're going to move this one, this one, this one. I don't want to say they were ignoring. Sorry, you talk about you gave things on the issue that you're supposed to. I want to get it done correctly. And I'm going to ask you and Joe with Dan and our manager to have our lead article in our winter newsletter to be our short-term rental enforcement and strategy or just communication. We have not publicly said anything about short-term rentals in over a year. So I would like the 4 of us not heads about how we communicate this. We have 2 times a year that we communicate to every property owner with a mailing. Yes, in our taxes. I think this is the opportunity in the next 30 days to write and describe what we want to say to them. And you know, with the insult, make sure we don't overstep our bounds. I think we should say something very forceful and clear about where we are at. So I just want to share that we're not ignoring this on the agenda, sharp. But I think we talk about purposes holistically, but on this issue of short-term rentals and moving forward, let's communicate one time in that newsletter. So I'll be in contact with you to figure that out.
Yeah, so no, thank you for that. I did ask for it to be on the agenda and I appreciate your explanation.
Mr. Supervisor, one question. I understand we have a code enforcement officer on board now.
Yes.
What is his name? I just heard of this the other day that we.
Yeah. Alonzo, have you all met him? Or yeah, this is fine. Okay, so Alonzo is on board full time, and he's delightful, and he's digging in. And so I can only expect that we'll see constant movement on some of the issues, including short terms.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you haven't met him, you
I will stop in and meet him. I just found this out. So thanks.
He is just a delightful gentleman, and but also it was interesting. He said, "Okay, I have no problem enforcing what the board says," and so we got to be clear about what we want, and he'll enforce it. And but he's a no nonsense guy.
So
he's a really.
Trustee Cerny, his full name is Alonzo Palmer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's no problem with it, and it'll be first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to make a suggestion. Next week, Thursday is our third Thursday. We have done a lot of work and hard work throughout the year, and we have a couple of things that are coming up. I'd like to do something different. We are spending over $300,000 on the Western Park pathway. I'd like to encourage us as a board to literally walk the pathway with our representative, our colleague Matt from Dusty, and he will demonstrate and show how we're going to spend $300,000. And then he has 2 bathrooms that he would like us to see, that he will demonstrate this is what 400,000 bathroom actually looks like. And so I think it'd be prudent for us to do a tour before we spend significant dollars on design of a bathroom, approval of a bathroom that arguably, I don't know what bathroom looks like on paper. I mean, you can approve a bathroom, you go, hey, it's great, how's it looking, really done? You know, there comes a couple beautiful bathrooms that they have done that he would recommend us seeing. What I'd like to recommend is that we meet here next week, Thursday at 6:30. We take a separate card, no more than 3 in a car, right? And all right, no more than 3 in a car, and we do a quick car tour to Winster Park. There's a bathroom report Sheldon, and then one here in Manhattan. And as quick as we get through those, we but I think it's prudent for us to actually see what we're doing with the money of the township. So I just want to make sure and advice for us so that we don't violate any area.
Just let the public know where you're going so that they could potentially meet you at the park and the 2 locations where there are restrooms to tour.
Easy to do. Easy. That big global time right together so people can use it. If they have issues. Yes. Any other questions about it? Yeah. Good. All right, so we'll do it. We'll do something different next week. I won't. Yes, you have some granddaughter banging the father. I understand. We'll give you we'll give you where they're at, so you can do the more background. Thanks, Dan, for letting us know. All right, any other comments or questions before we close?
Yes, there's number 15 announcements.
Oh, yeah. That's my mistake, my apologies. So we had an employee that has worked here for 30 years and I would like to recognize her. So let me just say that congratulations to Michelle Belfont. Park Township is proud to recognize and congratulate Michelle Belfont for her 30 years. Let's say 3 decades. 3 decades of dedicated service to Park Township. And if you need to see her, she's kind of tucked into the corner next to Al. So she's not front and center, but she's steady Eddie in the back. So God bless her. Michelle began her career with Park Township shortly after graduating from Denver College in 1995. Her first role was an administrative assistant in the office, where her organizational skills and professionalism quickly became evident. In 2002, she had the opportunity to expand her knowledge and skills by moving into the role of assessing department assistant. Michelle served full-time until mid-2000s, where she made the decision to transition to part-time work in order to spend more time with the children. Throughout the years, Michelle has continued to serve the township faithfully, bringing consistently care and expertise to her work. I would just add graciousness and just to the great lady. Out of the office, Michelle has been married for 27 years, and together she and her husband have raised 2 children, and a few times she does family activities, advocating and travel. On behalf of the board, Township Board, yes, we thank Michelle for her many years of hard work and commitment, and we are grateful for her contributions and celebrate this milestone with her. And in her quiet way, she was going to let this milestone this time quietly go by. We gotta celebrate these things. So we celebrate with Michelle and please pass on Bill that we publicly thank her and as a board, I'd like to make a motion that we approve and celebrate Michelle's 30 years of faithful service to Township. That's your affirmation from all of us.
Support.
So move, all support. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle. So with that, I will take a motion to adjourn. So, all right. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you.